5 minutes before the end of program, I'll repo and set my exposure and white balance and frame up. And
yeah, I just want to make sure they put them in the shade.
right.
It was so hard with masks.
Oh my God.
It was a tallish guy. He had a mask on.
Right.
It was kind of important. I think he was bald. I don't want to talk to the wrong person.
I know, right? Yeah, I don't see anyone. Actually, the gentleman who's sitting out with us in the back with his computer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, we would like to ask our guests to please take your seats. If everyone would kindly take their seats at this time, our program will begin momentarily. Thank you. Once again, good evening. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, we ask you kindly to take your seats. If everyone could kindly take their seats at this time, our program is going to begin momentarily. Good morning and welcome to the campus of the UMass Chan Medical School. We welcome you to today's ribbon cutting celebration for the new VA clinic. At this time, we would ask all of you to direct your attention to the video monitors at the front of the tent.
I'm Judy Piercy, and I joined the service in 1960. I was a very quiet, shy person, so everybody was very surprised I did it, and I surprised myself. But, oh my God, it was the best thing I ever did.
My name is Earl Zink. I went into the Navy in September of 1942. After a month of boot camp, I went to Boston to Burdett College.
My name is Laura Curtis, and I joined the military in 2003. When I joined, I went to the recruiter and I said, I want to join, but only if I can go to this unit, which was the 883rd Combat Stress Control Company. So I knew from the beginning what I wanted, and I knew they had an opening of a psych nurse.
I'll never regret going in the service. And I met Floyd while we were there, stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, and that was in '62.
Well, I started out and working in the personnel office. Then I got transferred out of there and I went to BP 24, and I spent my last 2 years at BP 24, and we traveled from Spain to Portugal, where we was over in the Med for 6 months. Pamphlet 24, it's anti-submarine warfare squadron. That's what we did. We chased foreign subs.
I was put on the crew of the LST 908. Well, I had a big job, and the captain would give me orders and I'd relay it to the others.
We help people to understand what can stress people out in a combat environment, and we try to do things to mitigate that stress. They were really impacted. Their families were impacted, they were impacted, and I didn't feel like people were kind of paying attention to the mental health needs. And I said to myself, if there's something that I could do that would provide help to them, then it's my responsibility to do that. My family's military, my father, my 2 brothers, this is something that I could do, that I could give back, and that I could serve soldiers. It'd be kind of like serving my family.
We weren't hurt during the service, so I never thought about joining the VA. I always thought that was for people that were hurt. But the VA guy in town talked us into joining. Dr. Sanjay was both of us, and she says there are all kinds of classes through the VA that would benefit you. And we were both overweight at the time.
I have sugar diabetes, too. They furnish my medicine for that. And my eyes, I get glasses from the VA. So they take pretty good care of me, I would say.
I have a hearing problem from the Navy, being around aircraft, and that was a great thing. I was amazed at the service they offered for that. I think it made a whole lot of difference. Modern climate.
A lot of people don't understand how good it is, you know, how we didn't before we started going, how important it is for older veterans, sick veterans, you know, to have someplace like that to go for everything. It's just important.
I know my team. My team actually knows who I am, and they give me respect, and they see me as a vet, and they treat me really well. I feel like this new building is kind of an extension of that respect. I know that when I go to the VA, I'm going to feel cared for. That's what I want for everybody that I served with, too.
Well, good morning and greetings. It's my privilege to welcome you to the campus of UMass Chan Medical School, and what a glorious, long-anticipated day this is. We gather here today to commemorate and to celebrate the opening of a state-of-the-art, community-based outpatient clinic to serve the needs of our veterans. As I welcome all of you those here in person and those watching online, we must begin by recognizing our active duty military members and the veterans who have served our country so nobly and who join us today. This celebration and this clinic are all about you. We thank you for your service to our nation. Let me also welcome our country's Secretary of Veterans Affairs, the Honorable Dennis McDonough. Your presence honors and elevates our celebration today. It's wonderful to have our distinguished Senator Elizabeth Warren on hand, as well as Worcester's own Congressman Jim McGovern, who has remained resolutely by our side throughout this endeavor. We're pleased to have Innocent Wafuzia representing Senator Markey and Michelle Brown representing Congressman Richard Neal at today's event. As always, it's a tremendous pleasure to welcome the great medical school supporter and champion, Lieutenant Governor Polito. Nice to have you here today with us. Lieutenant Governor is joined by Massachusetts VA Secretary Lucier Pape, as well as our region's VA healthcare leadership and members of our Central Massachusetts state delegation, including our Senator Harriet Chandler and Senator Michael Moore, our state representative Jim O'Day, and their colleagues from the Massachusetts legislature, Senators Goby, State Representatives Hannah Kane, Kim Ferguson, Meg Kilcoyne, John Mahoney, and Dan Donahue. Welcome all of you here today. Thank you for being here. I'd like to thank the many collaborators, faculty, and staff colleagues, especially those who are veterans, our alumni, supporters, and students, and let me extend the gratitude of the entire UMass Chan community for your being here today. Without your partnership over these many years, this day would not have been possible. Now, it continues to be a wonderful privilege to serve as Chancellor of the Commonwealth's first and only public medical school and to lead thousands of principled, passionate, and proud colleagues, several of whom are here today. Each of you makes an incredible impact on the health and well-being of the citizens of the Commonwealth, this nation, and indeed the world. During my 15-year tenure here, I've been extremely fortunate to participate in or preside over many events, celebrations, and ceremonies. Yet I believe that today will be among the proudest, most meaningful, and rewarding moments I shall have as Chancellor of this extraordinary institution. In many ways, today is the culmination of my decades-long admiration for and experiences with the VA, a wonderfully important mission-driven organization. I first came to know the VA in the early 1970s when I witnessed and was grateful for the compassionate, expert, and innovative care my father received at the Jamaica Plain VA. Later that decade, happenstance and determination would place me back at the Jamaica Plain VA as a medical student on the Tufts VA service. It proved to be a most impactful clinical rotation of my medical education and provided me with a greater appreciation of the commitments and ideals of our nation's veterans. More recently, particularly during critical intervals when the fate of this project was held in the balance, my father-in-law, Brendan Feeney, a proud veteran and patriot, reminded me of the importance and community value of this initiative. He so wanted to attend today's event, but as he passed away a few weeks ago, I am sure he's leading the applause from above and saluting all of us on a job well done for the veterans of our community. Now, during a week when Americans are encouraged to remember, recognize, and reflect on the profoundly important contributions of generations of women and men who answered their nation's call to service, it is entirely fitting that we come together to bear witness to this milestone achievement, the completion of a best-in-class VA outpatient clinic. Let it be said that New England's second largest city now has a VA facility that's second to none. A dream long deferred has now been realized. An aspiration long out of reach now has been achieved. A promise long made now has been kept. On this day, UMass Chan Medical School and the VA of Central and Western Massachusetts are building upon a rich and historic tradition of partnership between America's medical schools and the VA healthcare system, and forging stronger ties that will benefit greatly veterans who depend on the VA for their care. On this day, UMass Chan Medical School makes an explicit statement about our unyielding commitment to care for and about our nation's veterans. On this day, all of us uphold this nation's sacred and solemn obligation to serve those in our midst who have served our country and preserved our democratic ideals and individual freedoms. Whether in times of prosperous peace or grave peril, whether from the skies above or the seas below, whether deployed in distant battlefields or stationed on a nearby coast, the women and men in our armed forces come to their duty on our collective behalf. When they return to civilian life, they have earned and deserved access to the best care provided by the best clinicians at the best facilities. You see, our nation has a special covenant, a social contract, and a sacrosanct obligation to provide that and more to our veterans. On behalf of UMass Chan Medical School, it is the privilege of a lifetime to do our part to improve care for the veterans of our region. It is the right thing to do. It is right that we have done it. It is right that we shall continue to do it. May God bless America, and may God bless each and every veteran and those who have the privilege to care for them. I know that you're keen to learn more about this clinic and the special promise of exceptional care in an exceptional setting that it offers to our region's veterans. We have a full program ahead and are privileged to be joined by so many distinguished guests. President Marty Meehan very much wanted to be with us this morning, but unfortunately, recent disruptions with air travel continue this day. During his 14 years in Congress, President Meehan served on the Armed Services Committee and fully appreciates the service of our nation's veterans and the commitment of our nation to support veterans through the VA healthcare system. He asked me to convey how pleased he is that members of the Massachusetts congressional delegation supported this VA facility. It is now a great privilege to represent one of those to introduce one of those stalwart supporters, a very senior member of our Massachusetts congressional delegation and our senior senator, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Good morning. It is so good to be here with all of you, and thank you, Chancellor Collins, for the introduction. I am honored to be here with Secretary McDonough and with all of you for opening this incredible new community-based outpatient clinic. I am grateful to everyone who work so hard to make this day happen. I am thrilled that this clinic will provide veterans in the central and western Massachusetts area with access to the highest quality primary and specialty care, and will also train the next generation of providers to ensure that future veterans are well taken care of for years to come. It is important to celebrate both of these. I am very pleased that Secretary McDonough and President Biden, for their hard work on behalf of veterans. I am proud to stand with them to make sure that veterans receive every bit of the care that they deserve. You know, it took a lot of hard work to get here, and so I do want to thank Chancellor Meehan for his work and that of the UMass Chan Medical School for their leadership in producing the very best healthcare providers that Massachusetts has to offer. Massachusetts has consistently provided the highest quality health care in the country, and their work is a testament to that fact. We are here today because of their work. I also want to thank Congressman McGovern, a tireless advocate for Worcester, for Massachusetts, for our veterans, and a tireless advocate for this project. We would not be here today without Congressman McGovern, and I just want to lead another round of applause on that. This state-of-the-art facility is also a testament to the veterans of Massachusetts and the sacrifice that veterans have made for our nation. As we approach Veterans Day, I am humbled by the honor and the bravery of our women and men in uniform, both present and past. They represent the very best of us, and I am grateful to each and every one of them for their bravery to stand up and defend our country. Their sacrifices are a shining example of what it makes this country great, and I am proud to see that recognized and at least a little step repaid with our work today. All three of my brothers served in the military. I have recently lost two of the three. But when I go home today, I will call that third brother to tell him about this building, because I believe in public spaces. I believe in beautiful public spaces. I think they say in a very, very big way, the people who come here matter to us. So being here today with you to engage in a ceremony to say we're going to open this beautiful space to provide care for our veterans is a way that as a people, as a nation, we honor those who have served us so long and so well. When our service members complete their service and transition to civilian life, we should do everything we can to receive the services make sure that they receive the services that they need to ensure healthy and productive lives. From health care to housing, our veterans deserve the very best. So, here's my part of it. I will continue fighting for the federal funding to support our universities, our research centers, and our partnerships like this one that will help veterans receive the care they deserve all across our nation. I'll say as loudly as I can, thank you to the staff, thank you to the community members, thank you to the state, thank you to our federal partners who made this project possible, and thank you again to the UMass Medical School and the VA Central Western Massachusetts healthcare system for all that you have done, and more importantly, all that you're going to do. This collaboration is a wonderful achievement. It shows us at our best, and I'm delighted to be here to share this day with you. Thank you.
You know, I always wanted to run a place that had a helicopter, but I never really thought that today that a helicopter would be a problem. Senator Warren, thank you very much for your comments. As many of you know firsthand, we'll just let him go. pretty cool to watch, actually, how they get up in such a... Okay, they're off. As many of you know firsthand, projects this big and important don't just happen. They require commitment, support, advocacy, and vision from our leaders on Beacon Hill. In this instance, Governor Baker's administration and that of Governor Patrick before him, along with our state senators and representatives, have been resolute in advocating for this clinic. We should note that this beautiful, convenient, highly visible lakeside setting may not have been possible without your help. We're most fortunate to have the backing of Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito, and grateful to call the Lieutenant Governor a neighbor, friend, and now to welcome her back to campus. Please welcome Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito.
Good morning. What a beautiful way to begin Veterans Week. We all come together at this time of year, particularly on Veterans Day, November 11th, to express our gratitude to the men and women who have served, who are serving, or who dream of serving our country for the freedoms and the values and the way of life that we enjoy so much every single day. I just want to say to you, Mary Ellen, to your dad, he is here with us today. And with all of the preparations for the building, there's no doubt that he knew this day was coming, and he's very much a part of this beautiful story. I do live not far from here. I live over the lake. I pass by this campus almost every day. I grew up in this community. And every day, when it gets a little darker and the lights come, I see the blue lights of this building gleaming here in this city. I am always reminded that 24/7, there are people here getting care, and the shifts rotate with men and women who are trained and skilled and devoted to the health and well-being of our community. Today, as I was driving up the drive there and saw this building with those two letters, VA, I couldn't help but feel so proud and loud about the statement that that makes. And that this building with that name is very much a part of our community here. And for the veterans and the many who will be retiring from service, and that number keeps growing, won't need to think about how am I going to get care? How am I going to get to Boston? How am I going to get to Bedford? And have to struggle with the difference of maybe I won't go to that appointment. Maybe I won't have that annual physical just to see how I'm doing, and then pass it by, and then not get the quality of care that that veteran, like everyone else, deserves. This facility eliminates that. This facility allows our veterans to get exactly what they deserve and more. In the video, there was a line of one of the retired veterans that said, "I never regret my service." And we here in this community will never regret, because we are providing the very best of health care to our veterans. The other piece of this that is so very special is the fact that this is a public medical school. We are very proud that we have this public medical school. And that the students who come here are mission-driven to serve, always finding a way to give back and to make healthcare better for everyone. Graduating a class early as an example during the pandemic to put those students into active service, to care for people in the COVID hospital that was set up not too far from here as an example. I just can't imagine how beautiful it will be when veterans who are faculty here at the school and students will be in this facility caring for veterans men and women who have served this country, and how beautiful that particular part of their service and their education will be. And finally, I want to acknowledge all of our partners in the delegation, both state and federal, along with Secretary McDonough. And I said to you earlier, thank you for understanding that we needed a facility here so that all the people of this Commonwealth would be able to access care as a veteran. And understanding that we at the state level, and I see the full delegation here, as we sit on the former site of the District 3 Mass Highway Department, which was here for many, many years, we knew that there was another use for this site. And every one of the Mass Highway employees was very happy to find a new home not far from here and be part of this beautiful story that is very much a part of who we are in this Central Mass community and this Worcester community, to provide the very best health care, preventative care for the veterans today and of tomorrow. Congratulations to everyone for seeing this through. That is one thing for sure, Chancellor Collins. When we have an idea, we certainly work hard to make that idea come true. And today, it is true. Congratulations to all of you.
It's a privilege now to introduce the Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Secretary Lucier Pape, for a few remarks. Secretary.
Thank you, Chancellor, and congratulations on this wonderful new building. I am so honored to be here joining Secretary McDonough, our Lieutenant Governor Polito, the UMass staff, all of our elected officials from the federal, state, local delegations, and all of my friends and colleagues at the Department of Veterans Affairs. This is a great way to start Veterans Week. As we look toward the changing needs of our veterans, we understand some of the challenges that they have had upon return from service. And this bright, clear, spacious, light, new facility will do so much to provide that additional care, whether it's behavioral health or specialty care in this location. We have always had, in Massachusetts, in my feeling, a really good working relationship with the VA. And I personally am grateful to the VA medical centers in Massachusetts for all the assistance you have given us during the last 20 months of this pandemic. And we have seen here at the UMass Medical School, we have seen a clerkship that took place for 2 weeks when they choose a population to work with. I was always very pleased to see when they chose to work with veterans, because one of the things we are asking people, all clinicians, any point of entry, is to ask the question, have you or a loved one ever served in the military? So that we can provide or refer to whatever programs and services they need. And even if they don't need programs and services, it does start a great conversation. We don't need to ask that question here with the VA because they know to ask it. And we've seen the students that go through the clerkship, they now have a better sensitivity in how they can meet the unique needs of serving veterans and caring for them. So we've had a great collaboration. This is just going to expand upon that with the wonderful healthcare system of UMass, the training, and the Veterans Affairs Department. And I really want to thank the veterans who signed that beam, that topping off beam. And I want to thank you and thank everyone for your service and for family members who have supported too. This is a wonderful day. This is the beginning of a really new, a great relationship and continuation of that work that we will all do together. And I thank you on behalf of over 307,000 veterans and their families in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Wednesday is the Marine Corps birthday, so happy birthday to our Marines. And I hope you all have a very safe and wonderful Veterans celebration.
Five years ago, the VA Central Western Massachusetts Vision One and our medical school joined forces in a public and powerful way when the VA opened a specialty clinic just up the hill in our biotech park that offers podiatry, audiology, and optometry services to its patients. That initial effort has been a resounding success. The much larger clinic that we're celebrating today marks an important deepening of the fruitful and beneficial partnership our medical school is privileged to have with our region's VA healthcare system. Please now welcome the Vision One Director, Ryan Lilly.
Good morning. It's great to be here. This is a monumental day for us, as has been said a few times. Chancellor Collins, your opening remarks were so inspirational. Thank you. So it's more than fitting that we are dedicating this beautiful new clinic at the beginning of the week set aside for our nation to pause and celebrate veterans. We are all the beneficiaries of veterans of every era, beginning with a struggle for independence from which we emerged as a nation of many states joined together as one shining republic. It is worth noting that the struggle for independence began right here in the hills and valleys of Massachusetts, home to the great men and women of New England who envisioned a different path for our nation. While Veterans Day is a day set aside each year to thank all those veterans who have served, this new community-based outpatient clinic will honor today's veterans year-round by providing VA's nationally recognized healthcare services. These clinics, now 51 strong across our New England network, from southern Connecticut to northern Maine, which I am so proud to lead, provide comprehensive outpatient services, including health and wellness visits, mental health care, and other services. They are a great supplement to the care provided at our VA hospital campuses, often allowing veterans the chance to get comprehensive care closer to their homes. We anticipate this clinic will provide health care coverage for thousands of veterans year in and around the living in and around the Worcester area. I want to thank VA's leader, our great VA Secretary, Dennis McDonough, for being with us here today. What an honor it is to have you here for this grand celebration. It makes it that much more special. I also want to take a moment to recognize two former hospital directors in the audience who helped us on this journey to today's ribbon cutting, Roger Johnson and Jack Collins, both now retired. Thank you all for your persistence and dedication. And of course, a special thanks to our current leadership team at Central Western Mass VA for their continued tenacity and energy to bring the project to this point. I would also like to thank UMass Memorial Healthcare System. Our vision many years ago for this clinic was to partner with them for any services not available in our clinic here. Now that they have joined our network of community care providers, veterans can be referred and walk across the sidewalk to get additional care that may not be provided at the Worcester Clinic. And last and certainly not least, I would like to recognize UMass Medical School. The academic partnership between the VA and UMass Medical School is outstanding, and just one of the many extraordinary academic partnerships we have in New England, along with Yale, Brown, Boston University, Harvard, Dartmouth, and many others. As always, we here in Network One strive to be the premier integrated academic healthcare system in New England, with a highly engaged workforce providing exceptional care to the veterans we serve. For all of us who work on behalf of our nation's heroes in VA, every day is Veterans Day. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Dwayne Gill. Dwayne is the director of the Central Western Massachusetts VA Healthcare System.
All right, good morning, everybody. I will be brief today, as I don't want to get too emotional. Being Irish, I do get emotional sometimes. I'm sure folks around here understand that. First of all, Chancellor Collins, much appreciated. Without all your hard work, as I was telling the Secretary this morning, it would have happened eventually, but I think your work brought it to fruition much quicker. Secretary, I know Veterans Week is a very busy week for you, and so your attendance today and everyone else's attendance here today shows you the importance of this clinic, the importance of this partnership. So much appreciated. Senator Warren and Congressman McGovern, having been around the VA quite a few different stops for quite a long time, although I may not look it, the congressional support that I get, I cannot underemphasize. If there's days you don't feel appreciated, no, I appreciate you. I saw Everett in the crowd. Congressman McGovern, say hi to Holly for me. Innocent's here. How you doing, Miss Brown, from Congressman Neal's office. We have a strong relationship, a good partnership, and again, your advocacy is second to none and very much appreciated. Thank you for the local and state delegations that are here. I know there had been some legislation done and a lot of work done to make this happen with the DOT and moving it off. So this has been a years-long project, but it's very important, right? So when you're looking at real estate or anything, you know, location. This big, beautiful building behind us on this campus in the fastest-growing city in New England is a testament to the priority that care for veterans is. You know, obviously, I run a healthcare system. You know, so it's something that I work with every day and deal with every day, working with a veteran. So as Ryan said, Veterans Day is every day for me. But I think it's the same for this. From what I've seen with the community here, with the medical school, it's very much, you know, mission driven, and it's very important, and we appreciate all the work that's happened to this point. One thing I would say is for our staff, one of the things that the VA measures, and one of the more important measures for me, is trust scores, right? So how much do the veterans trust the VA to provide their care? I'm happy to report that the VA Central Western Mass is one of the top in the entire VA system. Upwards of 94% of our veterans say they trust the VA to deliver their health care. And our Worcester clinic that's moving over here, those scores are at 95%. So we're going to take that, we're going to take the trust and the quality care that we give our veterans here in the old clinic, bring it to this new clinic with the new capabilities within this building and partnering with UMass and provide even greater care, better care for our veterans. So thank you. Appreciate it.
You mentioned our city manager joins us, and Ed Augustus, and let me tell you, manager, that our medical school remains most grateful to you, for your colleagues in the city, and for all that happens because of your leadership. We're grateful that you can join us today. Thank you very much. I didn't mention Representative David LaBeouf, who joins us this morning. I thank you very much for being here. And I see Trustee Mary Burns from the university's board is here today, too. Thank you very much, Trustee, for being here. You may be aware that many of our nation's medical schools have partnered with the VA for more than 75 years, dating back to the end of World War II. Our own provost and dean of the T.H. Chan School of Medicine understands that our close partnership with the VA is essential in shaping the providers of tomorrow. Please welcome my partner for 15 years and the best dean in American medical education, Dr. Terry Flock.
Thank you, Chancellor. I think it is no understatement to say that the Chancellor's personal dedication to this project and his dogged determination to see it through over the last 5 to 8 years has been really a driver and an inspiration to all of us. On behalf of the UMass Chan faculty, I just wanted to say to Secretary McDonough and to Senator Warren, Congressman McGovern, Lieutenant Governor Polito, We're all honored by your presence on our campus. We're also honored by the presence of all of our VA partners and other elected officials from both the state delegation and the local government. I'm also honored today to be joined by two members of my family, my wife Kai Flott and her grandfather, who you saw in the video, World War II Pacific Theater and Navy combat veteran Earl Zink, who's right here in the second row. So. And my thanks to the other veterans who I recognize are also here. We owe you all a great debt of gratitude for the freedoms that we enjoy. My job here is to lead the education and research enterprises. I am pleased to have had the partnership of Dr. Collins for the last 15 years to do this. The impact of this project on our residents and students is essential for us, but also for the future of veterans health care in our country. We know that learners who train in VA facilities are more likely to care for veterans in their future clinical practice. And of course, veterans benefit from the increased access as well. Even prior to moving into this beautiful new facility, we already had 5 training programs ongoing with the VA of Central and Western Mass in our much smaller facility on Lincoln Street. These included the recently expanded internal medicine and primary care internal medicine residency, psychiatry residents and fellows, rheumatology fellows, cardiology fellows, and very importantly, nurse practitioner students. We have no doubt that the increased space for teaching clinics in this building will broaden the footprint of learners who have the ability to experience veterans care. This will thus train more learners for a future as physicians and advanced practice nurses in the care of veterans. They, as are we, are privileged to care for our veterans. It is really our privilege to fulfill this critical mission that we should never forget. So in that spirit, we thank you all again for your presence and attendance here, and it is now my privilege to introduce our Associate Dean for Veterans Affairs, the Associate Chief of Staff for Research and Education, and another staunch champion of this project from its very beginning, Dr. Kristen Maddox.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you who've come today. It feels like a big party that we're all here together, and I'm just delighted, so thank you. In 2013, under the auspices of the VA Joint Ventures Program, a small group of individuals representing UMass Chan Medical School and VA Central Western Massachusetts Healthcare System wrote a proposal that outlined how our two organizations could work together to improve healthcare delivery for veterans in Massachusetts. We aimed high. In our proposal, we described a new clinic here on the UMass Chan campus that would provide primary care, mental health, and specialty care services. We had the courage to dream big, and although we hit several substantial roadblocks along the way, including, interestingly enough, a baseball stadium in California, which proved to be a problem, we have made it to where we are now with this beautiful new building behind us. This work could not have been possible without the long-term vision and commitment by Chancellor Collins, Provost Flott, and clinical leaders in both VA and UMass. In addition, Dr. Carolyn Clancy, who is also here with us today, was instrumental in those early days as she helped us navigate those VA roadblocks and never stopped advocating for us as a true visionary and alumna of UMass Chan Medical School. Though VA Central Western Massachusetts is a relatively small VA in comparison to our counterparts in Boston and West Haven, we have proven that small does not mean insignificant. At VA Central Western Massachusetts, we are deeply committed to research to benefit veterans. For the past 10 years, our research investigators have been pioneers in women veterans health research, specifically examining maternity care and maternal infant outcomes among women veterans. Our large national study of pregnancy among women veterans was the first of its kind in the VA and has produced numerous impactful publications ranging from access to community-based obstetricians to perinatal mental health care to most recently COVID vaccine hesitancy among pregnant veterans. Findings from our study have inspired us to further examine racial ethnic disparities in maternal morbidity and mortality for pregnant veterans. And just last month, we were awarded the first ever VA grant to examine the impact of doula care for pregnant veterans of color. Given our previous findings have shown substantial disparities in care and outcomes among racial and ethnic minority women veterans, it is our hope that this doula intervention will launch a path forward to begin to address these disparities among our women veterans. Finally, along with Chancellor Collins and Vice Chancellor Hayes, I'm very pleased to announce the Veterans Fund for Health Research and Education. Now I'm going to get teary. A new UMass Chan research fund that will allow UMass investigators to partner with VA Central Western Massachusetts researchers and clinicians to focus on improving healthcare delivery and outcomes for veterans here at this clinic. We believe that our strong research, clinical, and educational partnerships between our two organizations will only continue to grow with this new clinic. I want to thank you all for coming to be a part of this special day, and I also want to give special thanks to people who have yet to be thanked. Sean McGinnis, who is basically the architect of getting this building going, and also Jen Berryman and her communications team here at UMass who put on this incredible event. Thank you very much for being with us here today. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maddox. 51 years ago, when the first 16 medical students occupied just a corner of this now sprawling campus, you can imagine how different their view would have been. In the decades since, it's been a great source of pride that so many of our graduates have pursued careers in the VA healthcare system. Our next speaker is a shining example of such service, an alumna of our medical school and the Assistant Undersecretary for Health Discovery, Education, and Affiliate Networks for the Veterans Health Administration. It's a privilege to introduce Dr. Carolyn Clancy. Welcome home.
Well, good morning. What an exciting way to start Veterans Week. I am so honored and excited to be here with you today and really feel very, very privileged standing on the grounds of my alma mater. We did not have a helicopter then. I think there was a move afoot to buy a van, but I did have the privilege of taking care of a few veterans as a resident here in Worcester, but really did not have the same experience or get to experience providing care to and learning from the veterans who have done so much for us until I did a fellowship in another city. So today's ribbon cutting just symbolizes the dedication and commitment you've heard from all of us, and I know that all of us share, that we feel towards veterans by ensuring that they get the highest quality care, state-of-the-art facilities, and I think this might have even exceeded Dr. Collins' imagination. I cannot thank all of the public elected officials who are here and were so important to making this happen, but I particularly want to thank Chancellor Collins and Representative Jim McGovern. Dr. Collins, our profound thanks. You were relentless in your commitment. Relentless, and I do underscore that. Especially, and the daily oversight, particularly during a once-in-a-century pandemic, that's all was needed to make this facility a reality. And Congressman McGovern, your passion and commitment to the veterans of Massachusetts was equally self-evident throughout the past number of years, and your tireless efforts on behalf of veterans meant so much. And of course, I would be terribly remiss if I didn't acknowledge another tireless advocate for our nation's veterans, Senator Elizabeth Warren. Your steadfast support for our medical research and so forth has just been nothing short of phenomenal. So I can't think of a better way to celebrate Veterans Week in 2021 than opening this facility. And I so look forward to seeing what's going to be coming here as providing care to and learning from the veterans who have served us so well, and building out the research enterprise will make my alma mater, UMass Chan Medical School, one of the shining stars of our many, many academic affiliates. So thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Now, as we near Secretary McDonough's remarks and the conclusion of our ribbon-cutting celebration, if you would indulge me for one moment to recognize a man without whom we might very well be gathered here today. Since day one of this dream, Worcester's own Congressman Jim McGovern has been by our side, by the VA's side, demonstrating purpose-filled advocacy to assure that this dream would be realized. While together we persevered, Congressman McGovern never lost sight of the goal or the reasoning behind it, to provide the very best care for veterans of our Commonwealth and our region. Publicly and sincerely, on behalf of this medical school community, we thank you for your tireless work and for never giving up on us, and more importantly, for never giving up on our veterans. For years and decades to come, veterans and constituents who drive east and west on Route 9 and see this incredible clinic will know of your role in making this clinic, our dream, a reality. It's a privilege to welcome our Congressman, Jim McGovern.
Well, let me thank Chancellor Collins for that incredible introduction. I can hardly wait to hear what I'm going to say after that build-up. But good morning, everybody. You all look great. At least I think you do. I can't see you behind the masks, but thank you for wearing your masks. That's the appropriate thing to do. And this is a community that appreciates science and understands the importance of what happens at this medical school. But it is an honor to be here with all of you today to celebrate this amazing day for the city of Worcester and really for all of central Massachusetts. And I want to start off by thanking everyone who played a role in making the VA Central Western Massachusetts outpatient clinic at UMass Chan Medical School a reality. And so many of you are here today. I do want to thank Senator Warren and Senator Markey and our entire congressional delegation we work as a team. If there's something happening in Worcester, everybody gets on board and offers their support. If there's something happening halfway across the state, we all get on board and we help that member of the delegation. So we are lucky that we have the delegation we do. I want to thank our state legislative delegation and our city representatives here, especially our city manager, Ed Augustus, who does such a great job here in this city. I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for her tireless advocacy for what we're celebrating here today, and Governor Baker, and Lieutenant Governor Murray, and Governor Patrick, all of who were very, very helpful here. You know, they say it takes a village. I think if you're in the shade, you'd probably say it takes a radiator right now, but the bottom line is that it really does. And so many people were involved in this, including the incredible crew here at the medical school. This medical school is second to none, one of the finest medical schools, not only in the country, but in the world. And so it is really wonderful to be here. And let me also say that it is an honor to welcome Secretary McDonough here to Worcester for this wonderful occasion. It really is a great way to kick this off after so much effort. But I do want to especially thank Chancellor Collins for the outstanding dedication, perseverance, and persistence it took to make this day a reality. I mean, this new clinic really is a tribute to his vision, to his leadership, and most importantly, his care for veterans here in Massachusetts and around the country. You know, this is personal to him. I mean, he gave that beautiful tribute to Mary Ellen's father. But he feels that way about every veteran. And when this first began, I mean, when this whole effort first began, it was a series of phone calls saying, I don't want veterans in central Massachusetts to have to wait to get the care that they deserve. They deserve better than what we were providing. I mean, that was the impetus for this new facility. He is, he is the leader of all of this, and an unbelievable negotiator. I lost count of how many meetings we had together, and sometimes he was the good guy, and then I was the bad guy, and sometimes I was the good guy and he was a bad guy. I never knew until we got into the meetings which role I was supposed to play. But he would never accept no for an answer. And for all of you here who have been with us on this journey, there were lots of bumps in the road. There were ups and downs. There were times when people were saying it just wasn't going to work out. And he would not give up. And so he is the MVP here today, and I am so grateful to him. So this day is a decade in the making. Somebody said to me, you started this when you had hair. It really wasn't that long, but it was a long time. And the process to get here, as I said, has been a roller coaster. It involved countless calls, letters, emails, meetings in my office in Washington and here in Worcester, and an enormous amount of patience. And I want to thank all those at the VA who work with us along the way. You heard from many of them here today, the state veteran officials, and as well as those with the federal VA. But what I can say is that I never once doubted that this day would happen because of the inspiring and tireless advocacy of so many people in this community, including many of our veterans, who, when they heard about this idea, rallied around this cause. At the end of the day, that is what this state-of-the-art clinic is all about. It's about making sure that our veterans get the finest care in the world. And as you have heard, this clinic is specifically designed to provide personalized care by pairing veterans with patient-aligned care teams, which focus on wellness and disease prevention and are proven to improve healthcare outcomes and increase veteran satisfaction. This is a big deal. And make no mistake, as has been mentioned, I mean, this clinic won't just help our veterans in the short term. No, the vital services provided here will help train a whole new generation of medical professionals to specialize in serving those who served. And for years, veterans in my district and VA officials alike have told me that one of the biggest obstacles for the VA is the lack of medical professionals with expertise in the unique challenges facing the veteran population, especially women. This clinic and the partnership between VA Central Western Mass and UMass Chan Medical School is what it looks like when we begin to address that problem. Future doctors and nurses and other medical professionals will get invaluable experience with the veteran population working at this clinic, graduating and continuing on to provide top-notch health care to veterans here and across the country. And let me end with this idea. America stands as a beacon of hope and light, not only because of the strength of our principles and our values, but also because of the heroism of the men and women who put their lives on the line to defend those principles and those values. We cannot repay the debt of gratitude we owe them, but we can honor their courage and their sacrifices through our actions by giving back to our community, serving others, and striving to make this country the best it can be. So as we prepare to celebrate Veterans Day all this week, let us also remember that we must honor our veterans not just with words, but more importantly with actions. On the battlefield, our soldiers and our sailors, airmen and Marines promise to leave no one behind. But all too often, when they return home or finish service, some of our veterans fall through the cracks. We must continue the hard work of addressing these problems until no veteran experiences homelessness, until no veteran doesn't know where their next meal is coming from, and until every veteran is assured access to the best health care available on this planet. So we have an obligation to those who served, a sacred obligation to ensure that we leave no one behind. And the work that will go on at this clinic will honor our veterans far more than words can. And for that, this community and all of America will be grateful. And so now, it gives me tremendous pleasure to introduce a true champion for America's veterans, someone who has worked tirelessly to ensure that this country lives up to the promise we made to those who serve and the obligations we have to the women and men who have proudly worn the uniform of the United States of America and the families who have served alongside of them. I got to tell you something. Like me, Secretary McDonough started his career working as an intern on Capitol Hill in the House International Relations Committee. That's what we called it back then. By hard work, he rose through the ranks and became the Latin America advisor to Chairman Lee Hamilton. Many of us know who Congressman Hamilton is. You know, where you couldn't find a better mentor on integrity and how to think things through. But like many good House staffers, he jumped over to the Senate to work for Senator Daschle as his foreign policy and national senior advisor. And before coming to the VA, he served as the 26th White House Chief of Staff under President Obama and as Principal Deputy National Security Advisor. He believes deeply, as he testified to Congress, that there is no more sacred obligation nor noble undertaking than to uphold our promises to our veterans, whether they came home decades ago or days ago. So please join me in welcoming the 11th Secretary of Veterans Affairs, my friend Dennis McDonough.
Well, Mr. McGovern, if you started this when you had hair, maybe that was before my hair had turned white. So what a generous and warm introduction from you. Somebody I've looked up to my whole career. And I see now, and seeing the intense dedication you have to Worcester, I see why you're so of this place, like the Lieutenant Governor, so dedicated to this place and to its people and to its veterans. It's just a great honor to be here with you, and obviously with you as well, Senator Warren, a great advocate now on the Armed Services Committee for our active duty forces, but also seeing through that our commitment to our forces continues, as the President said, as our lone sacred obligation as a country. Dr. Collins, thank you for your strong leadership, not only of this unbelievable facility, but this idea and seeing it through. I think the Lieutenant Governor said it well, that oftentimes we have ideas, and that the challenge is to make your ideas reality, and that's what today is. I want to thank also Ryan and Dwayne and our team from across the VISN. I said to you earlier today, it's the honor of a lifetime to work with you. You inspire me. The work that you do on behalf of our veterans and on behalf of the country, as so manifestly demonstrated by Dr. Maddox and your dedication to this building, is an absolute inspiration. Most importantly, to the veterans in attendance at this important ceremony, I thank you very, very much. Your grandpa is a testament to this country and to this week in particular. Obviously can't think, as several have said, of a more important time to gather for this important ribbon cutting. In 3 days, our country will pause to remember and recognize those men and women who fought our nation's wars and defended us during times of restless peace between those wars. And all of us will have the opportunity to recommit and renew our obligation to fulfill President Lincoln's charge to care for those who shall have borne the battle, their families, caregivers, and survivors. Opening this clinic is a fundamental part of fulfilling that sacred obligation. The service and sacrifices of veterans were driven by their unwavering devotion to an enduring principle: liberty and justice for all. From the beginning of our fight for independence, as Ryan said, in some of these hills and valleys around here, over in Lexington and Concord, to the height of the longest war that we've ever fought in Afghanistan, millions of veterans have risked their lives to preserve the democratic ideals of this great nation. Sometimes when they themselves were not afforded the same freedoms and liberties. All of us are beneficiaries of the blessings and opportunities they've provided, sometimes at terrible cost. I was reminded of this today when Meg Cabot and I went to the chapel at Holy Cross, and we saw on the back wall the many Holy Cross men in that time who gave their lives. Many gave their last full measure, and other veterans long endure memories of what they saw and the hardships they bore on our behalf. We live in peace and prosperity because of them, because of you. Their selfless service made us the world's leader among nations and, as Michael said, a beacon of hope and freedom around the world, drawing to this day millions of people to our shores and serving as a model of democracy. That's the story of America's veterans. That's who and what we will remember and commemorate this week on Veterans Day. The President Biden, often says our most sacred obligation is to prepare and equip the troops we send into harm's way and to care for them and their families when they return home. That's the promise that we as a nation make to anyone who signs up for military service. You take care of us, we'll take care of you. You get our back, we'll get yours. If you fight for us, we'll fight for you. Our entire nation makes the promise. And we at VA and our affiliated medical schools and partners, like UMass, are among those most responsible for keeping it. Opening this extraordinary new facility helps us do just that. It is the most recent improvement in the long evolution in the way in which we care for vets. Shortly after the American Civil War, we began building large soldiers' homes in major cities, which soon became the first veteran hospitals. Several of these original homes are still in use today. For many years, we relied almost exclusively on these hospitals to care for veterans, expecting veterans to come to us for care. But about 3 decades ago, VA began to reverse that healthcare delivery system, pushing out to the cities, towns, and villages where veterans live and work. Places like Worcester. Clinics like the one we are dedicating today are intended to provide 90% of veterans the care they get in our facilities. If we do this right, patient well-being increases, episodes of acute care are reduced, and veterans are healthier, happier, and in more control of their own lives. Not sitting on the interstate in traffic. And when veterans do need more comprehensive and acute care, we'll provide that care in one of our superb 145 medical centers with inpatient care, which are now supported by an even larger network of almost 1,300 outpatient clinic facilities, 300 vet centers, and mobile clinics that allow us to reach the most remote areas where veterans live. This new clinic will become an important part of that exceptional system. The veterans of Massachusetts deserve nothing less. So here in this 48,000, I think I heard, in fact, today, 53,000 foot, 53,000 square foot facility, 16,900 enrolled veterans in Worcester can receive primary care and mental health care, as well as rehabilitative care, care in dermatology, endocrinology, neurology, cardiology, rheumatology, pulmonology, and sleep therapy, and radiology, pharmacology, laboratory services, and importantly, caregiver support. So, I'll clap to that. Thanks again to Dr. Collins, to my VA colleagues, to the veterans here today, and to everyone who kept pushing this project forward to completion. And I know that when Jim says sometimes somebody had to be the bad guy, I'm confident, Carolyn, it was never with VA personnel. It's been a long road, but it's taken us to a destination worth reaching. In a letter to the chairwoman and ranking member of the House Veterans Affairs Committee that I sent last week, I wrote about the dedicated VHA, that is to say the health administration, healthcare professionals, and their laser focus on providing veterans, their families, survivors, and caregivers the very best. We will never settle for anything less. There's no better example of our employees' unwavering commitment to those we serve and to our patient safety ethos than the incredible work VHA has done during this pandemic. Time and again over the past 18 months, you all have stood up, often risking your own lives, surely putting the lives of your families at risk as well, to save the lives of veterans, to provide such care to the highest standards. We must also have the infrastructure and facilities to match our healthcare professionals' commitment to our veterans. That's what today's ribbon cutting of this exceptional facility is all about, serving veterans just as well as they have served us today and every day. I wish you all a very happy, very healthy Veterans Day. God bless our veterans, their families, caregivers, survivors, and may we always give them what they've given us, their very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. The chopper's going to come back now, so if we can just wait one more second. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Secretary, for your presence here today. Just be seated for 1 minute, please. Thank you. Thank you. Before we conclude, I want to thank our colleagues at the UMass Building Authority, led by Barbara Cronke. I want to thank the Smith Architects firm. I want to thank John Fish and his colleagues from Suffolk Construction. I want to thank General Sean Collins, a member of our nursing school faculty, and our other faculty who join us here today. I want to thank our facilities folks. I want to make particular mention of a veteran, John Baker, whose commitment to this facility was so full that he personally drove the proposal to Washington so that it wouldn't get lost at the FedEx. John, thank you. I appreciate all the kind words, but I want you to know that at UMass Chan Medical School, ours is a great team. And for all of you who I have the privilege to work with every day, I thank you very much for your constant support and confidence. I'm going to ask most of you to remain seated just for a few more minutes, and to ask those in the front rows here and here to please now join us in front of the clinic's entrance for the ceremonial ribbon cutting. Thank you all very much.
Down here? Am I in your way? I don't want to get in there.
How you doing?